Join Anthony L. McCaskill podcast. Now join us for today's episode.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony McCaskill with the Anthony McCaskill Incorporated podcast. Today we have a community leader in the city of Harvey, Mr. Christopher Moore. I've been knowing Mr. Moore pretty much my entire life. We were able to go to school, District 152, also to Gwendolyn Brooks Junior High School, and also high school together. So, Mr. Moore, welcome to the podcast show. Today we're going to talk about a couple of just key things and all the great things you've been doing over the past years in our community as far as community service. Real quick, talk to everyone, look into the camera, let them know how they can contact Voters Bloc and what Voters Bloc does for the community.
Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc is one of the mainstream media sources in the city of Harvey, and it does have its different sections. It's mostly serious community news. You can get involved with Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc by logging on to Facebook. It has a Facebook page that you are able to join that group. It is a private group. It is a few questions that you have to answer in order to join that group. You can also call Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc if you have any news or reports, any kind of community reports, whether it be violent crimes, whether it be good news or bad news. We are accepting any reports that you cannot or do not wish to report to the current city administration. So you are able to call us at 708-855-1342. And if you don't get an answer right away, please listen to that. Leave a message. You don't have to leave your name. You don't have to give who you are. Just tell us what the situation is, when and where, what happened, and what is your concern in the city of Harvey. And we will do our best to, as community leaders, get together with each and every community leader to address that particular situation.
Okay, Mr. Moore. So also residents and podcast listeners, this is also going to be live, and it's going to be not live, but it's going to be on our YouTube page. And the Voter Bloc information for contact information will be on the subtitles scrolling across the bottom, so you can always reach out if you have any type of news. So, Mr. Moore, let's talk about your involvement in the community as far as all these boarded up houses. I know about 31 weeks ago, you took the initiative with some more community-based people and started the Border Project. Talk a little bit about that, and how much of a response have you gotten from the community with your efforts?
The Public Safety Initiative is what it's called, and Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc founded this initiative in the city of Harvey. It's actually new to many Harvey residents, but it actually has started about 11 years ago. 11 years ago, in the Great Sixth Ward of Harvey, Illinois, I began boarding up houses in the Sixth Ward, just closing the doors and using a hammer and nails to get those homes secured as people got off of the tax roll, they moved out and got in tax trouble, or they just moved to where their home caught fire or what have you. Okay. So we would go through with those homes and we would make sure that they would secure each and every window. So over the years, as this problem has with abandoned homes and debilitated homes in the city of Harvey has gotten very out of control citywide, so we moved outside of the 6th Ward. So about 31 weeks ago, I came in contact with a gentleman from Midlothian, from the village of Midlothian, who came over to assist me in starting in the 6th Ward and closing up the entire 6th Ward in Harvey, Illinois. So once we got done with the 6th Ward, I said we would take donations and start citywide. So that's what we have been doing for the last 31 weeks.
Okay. So when you say public safety, and I'm also a resident of the city of Harvey, so I understand and I see exactly what you see. How many houses to date have you think you guys were able to close up, primarily the citywide houses in Harvey? How many houses have you guys boarded
up? To date, we are at 248 homes.
240 homes. How much more do you think you have to go in order to reach to obtain the goal of trying to shut down every house?
Reportedly, there were 400 homes in the city of Harvey that were debilitated, abandoned, or otherwise. So we did not get a full count after FOIAing that information from Harvey City Administration. We were not able to get exactly how many homes were on that list. So what happened was we go block by block. We actually do what we call reconnaissance, and we ride the community, different community leaders, and we go around and we take inventory of what homes are on what block. Are they occupied? Are they empty? We talk to the neighbors, and actually now people call in the Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc to report these homes. A lot of homes, they look like someone lives there, but that's not the case. So what we are doing now, we're doing something for ourselves to protect ourselves. So if there is an abandoned property on a block, you don't let that property go down. You have legal and a moral right, a legal right in the state of Illinois to close that property up, to make sure that your family is safe and your neighbors are safe and your block, making the entire community and the entire city safe. So what we are doing, just as this public safety initiative, is having people see what's being done, and they can take control of their own block instead of waiting or calling the city administration. You are able to do some simple things that we are showing you on Facebook each and every week, what you can do to close up those properties.
Right. So last week I was able to come out with you guys to volunteer. It was cold. It was snowy. I brought my son with me, and one of the things that I saw was the conditions that people lived in. Right. So the squatters are all over. Right. And I think we all witnessed that. But the one thing I think that I like you guys did is took the initiative not just to do the homes, but also the garages, because there's a lot of criminal activities that goes on those abandoned garages. So from a resident, I want to thank you and the initiative that you guys put forward, not just to do the homes, but also the garage. So my question to you is, as I look at the Facebook page of Voters Bloc, you have been very critical of this administration. And as a resident, I know why you are, because the things that's going on is ridiculous. What would you like to see different, or what type of administration would you want to see? Because you've been volunteering as a community activist for many, many years. What do you want to see different from your leaders in the community?
What I would like to see different all across the city of Harvey, especially in city administration, is for leaders to be truly transparent. To be what we call as Harvey world is an invisible government. It's a aura. To really be Harvey world, to employ people from the city of Harvey, to make sure that the police officers live in the city of Harvey. As a 46-year resident in the city of Harvey, it was nothing just to have 3 or 4 police officers that live on your block, a firefighter to live on your block. I want to see an administration that puts the youth of the city of Harvey first, and employing youths out of District 205, whether it be Thornton or Thornton Ridge, and putting them inside of the cadet program and creating police officers and creating firefighters right here within our township, within our city.
All right. So basically, you just want to see a transparent government, but you want to see a government that actually works for the people. So as I go through and I look at the different expenditures of the city of Harvey, I look at how much the mayor makes as a salary, how much the aldermen make, the clerk and the treasurer make. And when I sit back and I look at how much money these individuals make, and I look at the simple things like potholes, right? Putting speed bumps in front of potholes is ludicrous, but that's a whole other story. How do we, and I'm speaking when I say we, all my listeners on the podcast and also the residents of the city of Harvey, what can we do to beautify? But boarding up the houses is the first step, because in the wintertime is not that bad. But we need to also beautify our streets and our alleys and our corners. Is there an initiative that you want to start in the summertime to maybe transfer from the actual border program to a cleanup program? And if so, how would that look moving forward?
Actually, moving forward, public safety is the main objective of Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc. There are other community groups that focus on cleaning up in the city of Harvey. Harvey, Illinois Voters Bloc holds the city administration accountable for the salaries that's being paid out. Prime example for the Harvey Streets and Sanitation Department. We're looking at close to 6 figures and over 6 figures when you include insurances and these type of things. Our current Streets and Sanitation Department work ahead of that department. He's been working for the city of Harvey 35 years. Wow. And Harvey is 6.25 miles or 6.05 miles. I'm not clear which one that is at this time, but it's not a huge area. For 35 years to be in office, then you should have that 6 miles down to a science. I don't recommend, I recommend keeping your block and your area clean, but I personally don't feel that residents in any other community, they don't have to go and take time out and hours after they do their full shift at their job to take care of their family to clean up the entire city. Absolutely. When people are getting salaries to do such. So we are holding the city administration accountable. Okay. So we will, if we see trash, we will. I do work with other community groups that lead that is led up by the EBJ Foundation with LaRoyce Clay Williams and Chappelle Hooks from Harvey, Illinois. Been there, done that. Okay. That's something that they do, and I do support them. I do buy bags, and I do it because I am in the community and I live here. So I do think it's important to join them to show that you are participating along with the rest of the community. But I want to see an administration that's going to take their salary, not look to increase the salaries that they are getting for the non-service that the people of the city of Harvey are getting, but to donate their salary back to the community, at least for the first 2 years, to show us that you truly care about the city of Harvey. This is a part-time job in the city of Harvey for city administrators. They come to work at 7 a.m. They don't get here at 7, but 9 o'clock, they're going by 2 o'clock. So it's not a huge job to do. And for the salaries that's being paid out, we expect you to do your job, everyone to do their job. And to the next administration or this administration, I'd like for them to see, take their salaries and donate it back to certain things in the city that needs to be addressed, like potholes.
Absolutely. So the last thing I want to talk about, I know your page has been very intricate when coming to helping people solve the different crimes, whether it's carjacking or murders and things of that nature. Have you ever seen the spike in crime, and let's talk about murders and maybe overdoses, that you've seen in the last 2 years in the city of Harvey?
Heroin use, sales, and addiction have over the last 2 years, over the last 2.5 years, have skyrocketed in the city of Harvey. During this public safety initiative, we're proud to report that crime is down. The traffic is down. We actually go to these what we call trap houses, or the places where drug addicted people go and do these drugs, these dangerous drugs. It's inside of these abandoned and debilitated homes. During our public safety initiative, during the reconnaissance, we go to these homes. They know that we are there to close it up, and sometimes we give you a week or 4 days. We will be back Saturday, so close it up. So we are closing those homes up, and we are using 30, 40, 50 screws per door to make sure that nobody gets back in their property. And now a new phase of the public safety initiative. Today, we actually put up over 100 no trespassing signs over all those properties in the city of Harvey. So we are not going to allow the city of Harvey to be taken over by the effects of heroin use, which is rampant. It's not being investigated, in my opinion, by the Harvey Police Department. We are not seeing the investigative tactics for a dangerous drug, addictive drug, and it's a lot of these debilitated homes that we have closed, and trap houses, or what we call them. They are around schools. So we had to go in and close them up ourselves. It wasn't important to this administration, so we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. But heroin use is the number one problem in the city of Harvey, in Harvey, Illinois voters block opinion. The next issue is during the new phase of the public safety initiative is to close garages in the city of Harvey. And we're closing those garages because carjackings, if you may have noticed, is skyrocketed across the state and across the country. So we're not leaving any garages open in the city of Harvey for anybody to hide any more vehicles that you have carjacked. If you're doing that in the city of Harvey, know that you are being monitored and your vehicle will be lost to the authorities if you do attempt to bring it here in the city of Harvey.
Okay. So, and that's huge because, drugs has been a huge problem going back into the 80s for the city of Harvey. And the fact is, you're absolutely right that a lot of people go into these abandoned homes and they do their dirt and then get high, whatever. They are starting to even go into the different parks in the city of Harvey and use their drugs. But I know you get a lot of tips on actual murders, not as much as the overdoses, but you guys are like the prime line, like almost like 911 for the community. According to sources, there has been 20 to 25 murders in 2020. Now, this is a pandemic year. In 2019, as of May of 2019, there was almost 19 murders. What is your thoughts on how maybe we can curtail the murder in our city, and then what can our leaders do to help decrease those numbers?
The first thing to decrease the murders in the city of Harvey is for the people of the city of Harvey to elect and stand behind a mayor and an administration that criminals are going to respect. Crime is actually skyrocketed as far as murders because criminals, real criminals, organized crime, they view this administration as a joke. I don't want to say it like that, but we did take a survey after the election of 2019, and we talked to known criminals in the city of Harvey. We're gonna keep confidential, but we do have a rapport with criminal activity and the people that's involved in it. So we actually do speak to them. We asked them, well, why did you vote for this administration? And they said that they voted for the weakest mayor that they could get so they could continue in their criminal activity. Wow. So we have to stand behind a mayor that's the criminals are going to respect, and they will respect the law. At one point in time in Harvey, Illinois history, actually during the Kellogg administration, it was one police chief that every criminal in the South land, they would not come to the city of Harvey because they knew he was going to investigate them and he was going to make an arrest, and he would go as far as Texas if you ran and bring you back with his own paycheck, buy you a ticket back. He was such a nice guy. So until we get an administration to put the right police, the right people in the right places, and organized criminals are able to see organized city administration. Right. They are going to stay away from places where their criminal activity is going to be detected. So that would be Harvey, Illinois. Once the people of the city of Harvey, number one, stand on top of our public safety initiative. That means you are monitoring the no trespassing signs on your block. You are making a telephone call. You are actually calling the police when they are you see someone on that property. Once you see that no trespassing sign up on that property, they have no business being there. They are not a city official. So that's the main thing for us to come together, choose a mayor, not to be undecided, and know who our mayor is going to be a year before it's election time. So that's going to be important in curtailing crime in the city of Harvey.
Okay. Well, that's our time. I want to thank you for coming out, because I think what you've done and what you're continuing to do is very needed in our community. So I want to personally thank you from one resident to another. for your initiative and all the hard work you've put in, and all the hard work you're going to continue to put in. So, the Anthony McCaskill Incorporated podcast is sponsored by Anthony McCaskill Incorporated and 3A Maintenance LLC. All right, thank you.
Thank you for joining today's podcast with Anthony L. McCaskill. Visit www.anthonylmccaskillinc.com. Until then, stay connected and informed with Anthony L. McCaskill, a proven leader you can trust.